Can Muslim countries be friends with Israel? We'll explore this question through the lens of the once strong Iran-Israel friendship. But today, we clearly see what that friendship has turned into. There's a pipeline connecting two Israeli cities. What makes it interesting is that, back in the 1970s, it was known as the Iran-Israel pipeline. Yes, at one point, these two countries partnered to transport crude oil to Europe through Israel. But today, the situation has changed drastically. The two have become enemies. How did that happen? Let's investigate.
اولا شما 25 سال آینده رو نخواهید دید.
He pledged, quote, "There will be no Israel in 25 years."
Hamas's October 7th attack escalated the ongoing conflict between the two countries to a whole new level. That's because Hamas was backed by Iran. Iran and Israel are considered the most powerful military forces in the Middle East. Yet, they are fundamentally different. Iran is a country that refuses to recognize the right to exist of Israel, the only nation in the world with a Jewish majority population. But the issue between them goes far beyond Judaism and Islam. It's about who will hold influence in the Middle East. It's about the United States giving Israel unwavering support. So let's break it down and try to understand the roots of this hostility. After Israel declared its independence in 1948, Iran was one of the first Muslim countries to recognize it. So, what happened next? When the Western-backed Shah regime was overthrown during the 1979 Islamic Revolution, all those ties were turned upside down. The leader of the Iranian Islamic Revolution, Ruhollah Khomeini, believed that the revolution should spread throughout the Middle East and the world. He viewed Israel, situated in the heart of a predominantly Muslim region, as a problematic extension of the West. Since the revolution, the Iranian regime has refused to recognize Israel as a legitimate state. This is one of Tehran's oldest squares. In 2017, a countdown clock was installed here, ticking down to the year 2040, the date Iran claims Israel will cease to exist. Hostility toward Israel is a key propaganda tool for the Iranian regime. This square often hosts such demonstrations. The regime's anti-Semitic and anti-Israel rhetoric comes to life in these events. The square we just mentioned is called Palestine Square. Of course, there's a reason for that. After Hamas's October 7th attacks, people in Iran gathered here to celebrate. Some even chanted slogans supporting Hamas, but it's important to remember that Iran is an authoritarian state. So these protests may not reflect the true opinions of the people, as there are instances where such demonstrations have been organized by the regime. Since the revolution, the Iranian regime has consistently portrayed itself as a staunch supporter of the Palestinians. As a regional power in the Middle East, Iran's foreign policy is best understood by recognizing that they claim to be the leader of the Muslim world. They try to craft a rhetorical campaign that resonates with the average citizen in the streets of the Arab Muslim world, proclaiming, "We are the defenders of the weak. We are the defenders of the Palestinians." This is how we can explain why Iran views Israel as an enemy. On the other hand, Iran's influence extends far beyond its borders. What Iranians call the axis of resistance refers exactly to this. Hamas is not the only group in the region receiving financial support and weapons from Iran. Islamic Jihad in Gaza and the West Bank, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Syrian army, Hasht al-Shabi in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen, all are backed by Tehran. Supporting Hamas gives Tehran the opportunity to position itself as a leading defender of the Palestinian cause. As a reminder, the majority of Muslims worldwide are Sunni. This includes Palestinian Muslims, as well as Iran's other main rival and key regional power, Saudi Arabia. The two countries are fiercely competing over who will hold influence in the Middle East. Like Iran, its proxy forces also have a Shia identity. For example, Hezbollah. This group controls the area in southern Lebanon along the Israeli border. And then there are the Houthis, one of the parties in the Yemeni civil war. Their slogans go like this: "Death to America, "Death to Israel, curse the Jews." Just 3,000 kilometers away, the slogans echo those heard at protests in Tehran. The Iranian regime denies allegations that it provides weapons support to the Houthis. Iran claims that its nuclear program's purpose is solely to produce energy. However, Western powers and Israel view this claim with skepticism. Ultimately, the nuclear program became a means for Iran to establish a powerful position in the Middle East. The Iranian nuclear program is also a part of their geopolitical plans and strategy. Israel views Iran's nuclear activities as a threat to its existence. Meanwhile, Israel is believed to possess nuclear weapons, though it officially neither confirms nor denies this. This map shows Iran's key nuclear facilities. Over the years, many have been targeted by sabotage. For example, the facility at Natanz. According to experts, the explosion there in 2020 set the country's nuclear program back by 2 years. The Israeli leadership has implicitly threatened sabotage against Iran's nuclear facilities. Additionally, Mossad is believed to have attempted to weaken Iran's nuclear efforts through assassinations. Many high-ranking Iranian scientists have been consecutively assassinated. This includes Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, known as the father of the nuclear program. Israel has never officially claimed responsibility for these assassinations. You remember the pipeline we talked about earlier, right? Today, of course, no Iranian oil flows through it. Since the 1990s, Israel has maintained good relations with Azerbaijan. The Baku administration is one of the main exporters of oil to Israel and is also engaged in military cooperation. Here's an important detail. Take a look at southern Azerbaijan. It shares over 700 kilometers of border with Iran. This position could enable Israel to carry out long-range strikes against Iran. So how can a small country like Israel be such a major military power? Because they're not the only ones who see Iran as an enemy. They also have a very powerful ally. The United States is Israel's top ally, both militarily and financially. This support is rooted in strategic interests in the Middle East and a shared enemy. Initiated by the US, the Abraham Accords signed in 2020 paved the way for normalization of Israel's relations with Morocco, Sudan, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. Therefore, improving relations between Sunni Muslim countries and Israel was an important method for the US to try to reduce Iran's influence in the region. An important regional power missing from this agreement is Saudi Arabia. There are no official relations between the two countries. In early 2023, the US attempted to mediate a deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia. They had come very close to a historic agreement. This was yet another development that would provoke Iran's reaction. And then came Hamas's October 7th attacks. After Israel's deadly attacks on Gaza sparked outrage in the Arab world, the rapprochement with Israel was put on hold. A resolution between Iran and Israel already seemed nearly impossible in the near future. After recent events, it has become completely impossible. Israel's operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran's subsequent missile attacks have further intensified the hostile stance between the two sides. I want to ask you, can Muslims be friends with Israel? See you in the next video. Take care.